You know, during my live, I actually had 2 guys comment on what they wanted to see in my next video. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and do this. Now, what I found was funny is both of these builds actually synergize together to where you can do anything you wanted with them. So I've got a little surprise for you. These work for anything, even for 5 directives, and it's kind of stupid.
Guess what, motherfucker?
Now, True Patriot. Okay. This also gives you the ability to have a bigger magazine size. But with the introduction of Ninja Bike Backpack, you can actually allow yourself to put on 2-piece Brazos and get the more magazine size out. Now, the reason why True Patriot is good like this is it gives you a chance to boost not just yourself, but your teammates at the same time. Now, in so doing, you can also debuff the enemies and keep on going with that. By using the Ninja Bike, like we said earlier, you can actually get the 4th piece of True Patriot to get those buffs out, and these 2 pieces right here to where you can actually have a really strong build where it's mostly blue and mostly red. You can actually make it a 4 blue, 4 red, and if you were to put on tech support, you could actually have a 3rd yellow onto this because of this little piece right here. So you can actually make it to where it's like a hybrid skill build, damage and everything if you wanted to, if you want to make it that way, because again, we get the extra skill tiers. So we can drop some of these blues off and put it to red, but the more blues you have, the stronger that explosive gets. So this is where it becomes player's choice of what they want to do with this build. It's completely, you know, do what you want to do kind of thing with this build. So I've got a few setups that we're going to go over, and I'm just changing some of these pieces around so you can see how many reds we can have. And you can see, like right here with the shield, we have 6 tiers because of the blues and the yellows alone right here, right now. So you can keep dropping some of these off and put yellows where you want to, some reds, you know, kind of make this True Patriot and Max Magazine build the way you want. And it works really nice with however you want. And again, we could trade off the firewall and put on the technician like this and get an extra yellow tier. And then you could put on the capacitor and get even more damage for each yellow tier you have on your build. You could drop these off and put something else here. You know, you could put an artificer hive to boost your skills, boost your shield. Basically do whatever you want with this, even having a Max Magazine build. And to prove that this build can literally 5 directives, look at them up at the top. I've got the 5 directives right here. I mean, I've turned this thing into a like full-on 5 yellow skill build glass cannon. I'm using a pistol, and this is too easy. Why? Because it takes no skill to truly do this. Only if your build can legendary is it worth it, or if it can PvP. So doing 5 directives is really just pointless with builds like these right here. Again, you have enough damage, you have the weapon damage, you have the skill tiers, everything you want with this True Patriot, if you know how to build them right. And that's where it just becomes fun. Now, does the magazine, being a Max Magazine, make this really good for this? No, actually it doesn't. It just allows you to put more bullets on target. So again, if you build a build right, you can use it for many of things. But is it worth to be legendary? No, this is mostly just a heroic type thing, and that's about it. And you can also turn this into a PvP style and do it a few different ways depending on what you prefer to use. So let's get into some of these other ones, shall we? Now, the cool part about having a True Patriot Max Magazine build like this is if you have a chest piece like this, you can actually turn this to anything you want. Now, if it happens to have, say, like any of these right here that you prefer for a talent, you can actually do whatever you want with this. So, me personally, I have found that Unbreakable or putting on Efficient or Obliterate or Glass Cannon, of those 4 right there are actually the best for this type of build. Now, why just the Obliterate alone is because the Lady of Death. The Lady of Death is by far the strongest thing for this build because, as you can see, we get plenty of crit chance and plenty of crit hit damage. But we need to take a look, even though we're using the Ninja Bite, we have to take a look at the actual weapon itself of the Lady of Death. Now, as you can see right here, the Lady of Death alone gets more damage as you stack it up. So if you are moving, you gain 4 stacks per second, or 8 stacks if sprinting. Now, the max stack is equal to the magazine size. So this allows you, with each round, to consume a stack, amplifying the damage by 75%. So the bigger the magazine gets, the more damage you get out. Thus, in doing the exact same with True Patriot, if you were to shoot them with the red tag, that gives you even more damage, up to 8%. Now, you can also use the True Patriot chest piece rather than using that Brazos chest piece, and you can actually increase it, I believe, up to 12%, if I remember the numbers right. I don't have a chest piece, so I wasn't able to show that. I'll be setting that up for the codex. So again, if you want to increase your crit chance, you can just throw in some mods like this right here, take out some critical hit damage ones as you saw, and we got to about 53% crit chance. Now, if you want to take it up to 59, by all means do so. You can use it that specific way, and the build still slaps. But again, that build right there is for PvP. That will not be used right here in Legendary, or do 4 directives. Not even this one right here with all these extra yellow cores, which gave us a 5-tier skilled turret. It would still not do Legendary. Now, however, this version right here that we have with most of these blues and reds and using Obliterate can actually still do a 5 directive heroic. As you can see right here, all you have to do is put on an Artificer Hive, put on a shield. That's going to keep your shield up and going. And if you happen to still need to get in cover because you're taking too much damage, again, because you are not actually having that much survivability. You'd have to take this down to basically all red just to get the damage out, because you're using everything towards the magazine. You're not doing anything else other than just trying to get magazine. So this is where, again, this build, while it is good, it is mainly for PvP. Trying to do this for anything else other than PvP is going to hinder its actual damage. Now, again, with True Patriot, the higher your armor is, the stronger the explosive gets also when you get them on a full stack of a flag. So that is something that we have to remember. So while doing this, again, while it can be fun for PvE, it is not the best setup for here. It is mainly to be used in PvP this way. Now, some other good pieces to use with it in the exact same way, having the same build, which is good for PvE, is actually using a chameleon. Why? Because if you have to hit 75 shots, and the normal magazine is at 50, the chameleon actually allows it to stack all off of one magazine, just like so. Now, does it mean it's the best? As you can see, we have 50 right here. Once we reload, we get 90. So if we have to hit 75 shots, this allows you to stack the chameleon even faster, because basically you're not having to reload and then reshoot, reload and reshoot. Same with the headshots. So if we're able to do this, this makes it really nice and fun. Does it mean it's the best for here? No. Actually, the Lady of Death still reigns supreme on a max magazine build like so. We have 4 red cores, 4 blue cores, and we have 3 yellow cores with this build. Now, another great one that we use in PvP is also an Eagle Bear, because you can see we got 108 rounds, ladies and gentlemen. 108 rounds. But again, even though we have 108 rounds, we're not getting that much damage out of it. This is mainly just to get more magazine. So while you do this, you still struggle with the crit chance and critical hit damage, no matter what you try to do with this build. While it's a great build nonetheless to put just with any kind of weapon, especially like EBs or whatever, the best weapon alone to get out of there, because the magazine size boost, is going to be the Lady of Death at the end of the day. Now the one that has never changed or whatever is this version right here. This one has stayed in the codex for the longest because this is one that we started off with, and this one gives your teammates and everything tons of boosts. One, it gives them the extra blue armor, so if they get cracked, they don't die. Now you can put on whatever exotic you want. Here you could do Ridgeways, you could do whatever kind of chest piece you prefer. I'm not saying you have to do tardigrade. What I'm saying is if you're going to help your teammates out, the tardigrade is the best go-to. And then on this right here, for the True Patriot, you're going to give them all those extra bonuses. And since we're giving our teammates bonuses, we put on the Uzina Zetka backpack for the perfectly opportunistic, because again, the more armor we have, the higher the explosive gets. So that is where we would trade off all this red damage and just boost our teammates up. Instead of having weapon damage, we boost them by giving them these extra bonuses. So if we also have the survivalist, which we have on this, the moment we do any kind of status, we're giving them 10% weapon damage. We're also going to be giving them the extra 8% on the red flag from the True Patriot. We're also going to be giving them the extra 20% from the Scorpio when we stack it out, and the 15% from the opportunistic. So we're giving them tons of extra boost from this build alone, and then at the same time we're stacking everything. So as you see, the Scorpio is going to do a status effect of some sort. That's where the status effect comes from the crossbow or the survivalist, and we're giving them an extra 20 when we full stack. Again, the red cores right here, or even if we want to stop the enemy from doing damage with the blue cores. And then we have the perfectly opportunistic. Now, if you don't want the protection from elites that's on here, you can easily trade those out and just put crit chance in there so your shotgun does more damage. But once you stack all that out, their teammates nearby you are going to have all this on them, and once you blow up a target, guess what? The explosive gets even higher because you're also using the total armor of the Uzina backpack. So let's show some damages for this. Again, as you see, we keep going up and going up. And then once we get everything stacked on here, there's a crits, and you see we jumped up a little bit more. And then there's the explosive. So yeah, this is still a great build setup.